And Rich, you know, let's start off with you. We were talking about this ambivalent energy, the fuck it, that we're going on. We're around people that have tried everything, people that are afraid to try anything. What needs to happen for people to take a step? And as we were talking, you know, the whole hit bottom thing is a paradigm that we're used to in our culture. Well, I hit bottom. That's what it takes to, you know, have spirit hit you over the head and wake you up, or whatever. Do we need to hit bottom? How do we take a step on this?
Well, I think this is what Skip and I were talking about earlier. I think that there's the good news is that the yearning to kind of live a different way and to live a love-based way is getting so strong, you know, I think collectively but also individually, that it's not necessary at this point to hit bottom. But I think once you start choosing to make a change, I think compassion is the critical element in terms of both with the practitioner holding a compassionate space for the part of the client that is completely in this fuck it, I give up, but also, you know, for the client to develop a deep sense of compassion for themselves, for why they have made the choices they've made, why they have end up in the ruts they're in or end up stuck like they are. That if you don't have compassion for that, it becomes part of this enormous shame, collective shame that people just keeps perpetuating the fuck it. It's like, you know, I'm the problem. I can't get out of this. I'm just creating more mess in the world, more mess for my family. And if you can, you know, help them develop a deep sense of empathy and compassion for how multi-generationally they came to where they are, and that they have the courage now to break these multi-generational patterns by making different choices. If you can help them see the courage in their willingness to take a step, it empowers that step, you know. So that's one thing I think we can do.
Anybody else? How do we get some movement on this planet?
Well, I think trust is huge. Trust is very, very important. And I think some people, I don't believe you have to hit rock bottom, but I think some people have to be forced to do something. Then they don't have any other choice other than getting up. And then just trusting themselves ultimately, but getting to that point, trusting help that they choose to find. Balance, I think, is another thing that is huge in order to help yourself get up. So to me, those two things, balance and trust, are imperative for healing yourself.
I think that listening, somebody mentioned earlier about the listening, listening to that inner voice and listening to the inner guidance that I think we all receive. Some of us are just more tuned into it than others, and helping people, giving people, permission, like encouragement to listen to their own inner voice. Because a lot of times when we're children, we're told, something, we get a message and our inner voice is telling us something, and somebody else in authority is telling us not to do that. And I'm also a grandmother, and with my grandchildren, I just see how much wisdom they have, and they do listen to their inner voice, and they're homeschooled, so they're not getting a lot of that messages coming from the authority of the school system or whatever. And I just watch and wonder at how much wisdom they have, and how empowered they can be, at a very young age, because they're being encouraged to listen, and they're being told that it's great that they're listening to their own guidance. And I think when we listen to that inner wisdom, we don't have to hit rock bottom, because that happens when we don't listen. And so then when we are listening and responding, then we can respond instead of react. And that is a huge difference, responding instead of reacting.
Sarah, were you going to say something?
Well, now I want to say something else.
Oh, good.
I was thinking about how we're going to make a shift, and I think education is important, and sort of uneducate or re-educate people about stress and what it actually does to the physiology and to the mind, and to our soul, how it kind of blocks our connection. And, we talk about stress. It was years ago, I think, in Time magazine said stress, the silent killer. But I really look at stress as something that is the first thing that I address when people come to see me, because stress has so many manifestations. The accumulation of it can create insomnia, indigestion. It can create a sense of being a victim. It can create total lack of self-awareness. It can create addictions. It's the buildup of stress. Really, I look at it like a sheath. It's a sheath between our self-awareness and our true selves. And so meditation is the primary way I work with people to release some of the stress. And then we start taking a look at what is stressful. Is it the relationship? Is it the moving too quickly? Is it the saying yes when I mean no? Or is it the relationships that we stay in far too long, or our addictions? And so stress to me needs to be readdressed, and we, instead of going, oh gosh, I can't sleep, I need a pill for that. Oh gosh, I can't digest my food, I need a pill for that. Oh gosh, I can't go to the bathroom, I need a pill for that. I can't have sex, I need a pill for that. Instead of all that, it's going, maybe it's a buildup of stress. Maybe we need to address that. And then what happens when we start addressing that is we become more self-aware. And we become more aware of what we tell ourselves. I was walking in the, I'm pretty good at not having too much stress. This is my work. And I'm walking on the trail today. My dog just got swiped at by a bear, and we're walking with my dog, and he's got stitches all over him. And I suddenly catch myself saying some really nasty things to myself. And, fortunately, I caught it. This is the same story I've been telling myself for years. But all of a sudden I go, I'm a bad girl. And for certain reasons, I think I shouldn't have done this or should have done that. I'm a bad girl. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to reframe that as I'm walking with my dog. I'm a girl. I'm like, you know what? I am. And that's just, but this self-awareness really is the key to identifying the self-talk, looking at the victimization, finding where the stress is coming from. And before, again, like I say, before the wake-up call, the stress needs to be addressed before the cancer comes, before the irritable bowel syndrome, before the mental illness, before the obsessive-compulsive disorder. We need to identify what well-being feels like, and so we can, when we're off course, we can find it.
And I think, in thinking about helping people take that first step, I think another aspect is to offer possibilities for them that are beyond what they currently see. Because when they're in that place where the negativity is overpowering the positivity, they frequently just can't see those possibilities. That's what I love about astrology. It offers those possibilities because it's there in the blueprint. But that's another thing that I've seen when you can open up a person's vision enough to see, oh yeah, that's right. I have that talent. I have that skill. Yeah, I think that might be available to me. I might have to do some work to get there. And I might have to give up a few habits to get there, but I can see it. And so that's another thing that I think helps them take that first step.